And I have my assistant with me tonight because I had a little childcare issue. So if you hear some cheering in the background, that is my 7-month-old daughter who is really excited to walk one day.
Yeah.
So tonight, and so if you are, sorry if I didn't say this before, we will have plenty of time for questions at the end. So if you don't mind muting yourself during the presentation, that would be awesome. So one of the reasons that we decided to do this topic tonight is as we were talking to the different Keeley's camp coaches and obviously to Keeley, one of the questions that we get a lot throughout the summer, whether it's from parents or girls themselves, is when do we know if we're ready to crosswalk? And so we thought it would be a great opportunity to do our first Keeley's camp webinar to parents. And Keeley asked me to talk about this topic. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Lindsay Mann Davis. I grew up ski racing on the East Coast. This is not a picture of me on the screen. This is Katie Hensian. But I grew up ski racing on the East Coast. I ski raced all through college. And the highlight of my career was winning a run of NCAAs my senior year of college, which helped my collegiate team win NCAAs that year. So that was super exciting, and slalom was one of my favorite events. And so I get the opportunity to talk to you about crosswalking tonight. So the things that we want to talk about during this Zoom is what skills we look for as coaches to know if you're ready, if your daughter or you are ready to start crosswalking. Some of the drill progressions that you might see us do at Hood or other camps, and then what gear and equipment that we need. And like I said, we will make sure that we leave time for questions at the end. So I want to start out by showing this video of Michaela Schifrin, which obviously this is crosswalking at the highest level. She is the best in the world, not only at slalom, but obviously at crosswalking. And as you're watching this video, I want you to really look for some things with her crosswalk. What does she do well? Where are her shins in relationship to the gate? What is her upper body doing? And how is the pole plant integrated to the crosswalking? So just think about that as you're watching this video, please. So I'm going to play this video one more time. I'm going to play this video one more time from the beginning. And as you're watching it, I'd love for, if you're a girl on this call, to put in the chat what's something that you think Michaela does really well that you want to do in your crosswalking. And if you're a parent, also putting something in the chat that you think that she does well with her crosswalking that you think is important.
Is that Reva? I'm going to put my video on, okay?
So if you just joined as we're watching this video of Michaela skiing slalom, we want to put in the chat something that we see that we think she's doing really well as it directly relates to cross blocking. So thinking about how is her pole plant integrated into her cross blocking? How close are her shins to the gate? We're getting some awesome comments in the chat. Yeah, so one of the things that I'm seeing that people are putting in the chat is there's a lot of like quiet upper body, quick feet, knees and ankles, and shins close to the gates. So we want to start out by talking about what are some skills that the coaches are looking for from your daughters. So on that first day when we're free skiing, is we're starting to look for this picture. Are your daughter's knees and ankles, are they moving and working together? How is your daughter's stance? Because as you can see, once then we get in gates, then we want to start looking at how close are your daughter's shins to the gate. Again, here's a picture of Katie Hensian, right? That's at like the highest level. But this photo here of this girl free skiing, that's a U16 athlete. And I believe this is a U14 athlete. So yeah, shins right on that stubby or close to the gate is something that we want to see to get them cross or before we have girls cross blocking. And then also that their knees and ankles are working together. Because the ultimate goal with cross blocking is that our skis are still running cleanly and we're using that cross block to get the gate out of our way and to gain speed. And instead of what we don't want is for that gate to be slowing us down. So it's important that we have those knees and ankles working together, that we've got the shins on the stubby. So again, oh, sorry, I got a little bit crazy. Wow, sorry, really crazy. Okay. So again, this is just another example of after that free skiing day, if we see, okay, yeah, we've got good knees and ankles, and that's what we've been working on with our groups, because that's a great place to start. Then as we get into stubbies on that first day of slalom, this picture on the left, what we're going to work on with that athlete is getting their shins closer to that gate before they're ready to crosswalk. The picture of this person here on the right with the check mark below it, their shins are right on the gate. They are ready to start crosswalking. They're in a good position. The other thing that I'm seeing a lot in the chat is a nice quiet upper body. We've got another person that said minimal upper body movement, keeping their body level, upper body level and facing downhill. All of that is so awesome, right? Again, we want to be able to, and someone said this in the chat too, we want to be able to have that quick feet. We want to be generating speed with our knees and ankles and bending up that ski. And so in order to do that, we want to have that quiet upper body. We don't want the upper body to be taken away from what we're doing. So having that quiet upper body is super important. One thing that you might hear Achilles coaches talk about a lot is keeping that zipper facing down the hill. And then conversely, or similarly too, as you notice in both this picture and this picture, the ones with the check marks, those, both Katie Hensian, who's on the far left, and the girl that is in the middle, her hand is also not across her zipper. Their hands are staying outside of the zipper, so they're also just in a nice athletic position with a quiet upper body. The picture with the X here, this girl, her zipper, we can't see her bib number. She's got a little bit of, she's got some rotation going on, and that body is a little bit more across the zipper, which is just taking away from what the skis are doing, which just tells us we have a little bit of work to do before we really want to focus on cross blocking. We have some things that we want to clean up. And I'm just gonna back up again one more second. Oh, sorry, these slides are Really zipping around on me. The other thing too is, right, we want to have a nice, strong pole plant. So again, on that free skiing day or when we're asking the girls to warm up, we might give them some drills to specifically think about pole plant. That pole plant helps us with that timing, not just about getting on and off our ski, but also is integrated into that pole plant, as we saw with Michaela. And I believe I saw some people that also put that she has a really good pole plant as part of for as what they saw from Michaela, which is awesome. And then that other thing that we're really looking for to be ready to crosswalk, besides knees and ankles working together, which relates to that shins on the gate, besides that quiet upper body and pole plant, is we also want to have some good slalom tactics. That goes hand in hand with getting our shins closer to the gate. So this photo with the check mark here, we can see they're cross blocking pole plant, then they're moving forward onto that new ski above the gate and getting that pressure above the gate that helps us get our shins right on the gate. So again, we're using the tactics, the cross blocking is helping us gain speed instead of this picture here, which the girl is reaching for the gate. And just also a side note is I did not use any photos of Keeley's campers doing things incorrectly. All of our Keeley's campers are great cross blockers or great free cross blockers. But you can see the difference here is just we lost that quiet upper body in this photo. We've got some more rotation. So if this was a Keeley's camp athlete, we would first work with her on getting her shins closer to the gate, and we do some free skiing drills to help her get in just a better upper body position so that she can be set up for success. So now when we go back to watching this video of Michaela again, let's really look at the timing of that pole plant, how close her shins are to the gate, and just how smooth that cross blocking is. Because these are the things that we want to see in your daughters to help them start with the next steps of cross blocking. And if these are skills that we're not yet seeing in slalom, then we're going to help them with some free skiing drills. We're going to help them change their line in the stubbies and be giving them tips on that. We're just so excited about cross blocking over here so that we can be working on that before we introduce something else with cross blocking. So again, I'll play this video of Michaela so that we can just really hone in on those things that she does so well. Pretty inspiring to watch Michaela ski slalom. It's really cool to watch it. And again, just watching her again, you can just really see, and one thing that just really stands out to me is her upper body and just how quiet it is, that she really lets her leg do the work and she's just so smooth. That's really what we're trying to go for with all this cross blocking, that it looks like a nice flowy dance. So another thing that we do for sure want to see at Keeley's camp before your daughters are ready to crosswalk is that they have the gear. The biggest thing, and we do require this in order to start working with your daughters on cross blocking, is that they have a chin bar. We really want to protect their lovely faces. And so we do require that they have a chin bar prior to cross blocking. If you have any questions on like a chin bar or anything, feel free to email us. We're happy to answer those questions. If you don't have a chin bar, or all of a sudden your daughter's ready, there are some great places at Mount Hood that you can usually get a chin bar. But along with that chin bar is shin guards too, to just protect our shins because we want them on the gate, and pull guards. And a lot of this protective equipment too, it just helps us protect ourselves so that we're not getting sore and developing bad habits. So now we're going to switch modes a little bit into, so we see that your daughter has a good pull plant. We see that their upper body is down the hill. What are some drills that we can do to help them get them set up for success besides just being in the stubby gait? So one of the drills that we like to set sometimes is leaner gaits. What's nice about this is, as you can see, this person has their zipper facing the downhill, their hands are up, but it really shows them that they can just leave the upper body where it is and the gait's gonna come to them. So that's one that we'll sometimes do at Mount Hood. One that we do a lot that we really like is this diamond hitch drill. And so we'll have a stubby or a brush in the middle and then a tall gait on, in this case, it's a right-footed turn. And then what's not pictured here that's out of the frame is there would also be a tall gait on the left side turn so that we can run the course in two different ways. So either your daughter's cross blocking on the right side or your daughter's cross blocking on the left side. And this just helps them with tactics, with just eliminating a few variables, but it really emphasizes that you just need a solid body position when you're cross blocking and just keep it downhill and keep it really simple. Some other drills that we like to do for cross blocking is we'll just have them cross block one gait at a time so that they can see this is exactly, yes, my assistant loves that drill, is cross blocking one gait at a time. So they really get that good feeling, they develop good habits, and then we might have them cross block 2 gaits or 3 gaits of open gaits. And then we'll get into cross blocking longer sections of open gaits. And then the last part of this cross blocking progression is adding in combinations. All of these drills do come with a little bit of an asterisk because safety is obviously our biggest priority at Keeley's camp. And so sometimes if there's not enough room in the lane, we have to get creative with how we can teach cross blocking. And we might not be able to set the perfect progression, but our coaches are innovative and they're creative and they're going to do their best to give your daughter some progression to the cross blocking to help set them up for success. So the final piece of this cross blocking progression is cross blocking combinations. And so to back up just a minute, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page and speaking the same ski racing terminology of what is a combination. So we talk about hairpins, so that here we have a single gait, and then we have 2 gaits really close to each other. Oh, sorry about that. We have a single gait, and then we've got quick 2 gaits, and then this is the next turning pull gait. So it's the tempo changes a little bit and it's quicker, and there's 2 gaits right next to each other, and that is a hairpin. And then we have a flush, which is 1 open gait and then quick, and there's 2 sets of double gaits, and then this is that next turning pull. And so we call these vertical combinations. And this is where we often see girls do a really great job cross blocking open gaits, and then we want to give them some coaching on cross blocking hairpins and flushes, because this is a great place where if you are confident in skiing hairpins and flushes, whether you're cross blocking or not, this is a place in slalom where you can really gain a lot of time. So here is a video that I actually found from 2019 of U16 Nationals. And there's some great hairpins in this. And I want us just to watch which hands are they using to cross block, especially the exit gate. How are they doing that? These are the best 15 and 16-year-olds in the country from 2019. So there's a delay gate, which we didn't talk about, some open gates. And then here she's coming up on a flush, really nice and smooth. And at the top there, when we see the next one, right out of the start, there is a hairpin right there. So we're just gonna watch a few of these athletes. And the reason I wanted to show not just World Cup videos, but some U16s as well, is just to show that the best U16s in the country have a good understanding and really solid fundamentals when it comes to cross blocking. So when Dasha goes through that flush, the thing that I really want to highlight, or now we're on to the next girl, but when they are exiting the combination, they are cross blocking the gate. They're not using their inside hand. They're actually cross blocking just like they would an open gate on the exit gate. And that's super important because it helps maintain really good body position. And so what I mean by that is when they exit the combination, and now we are going back to Michaela Schifrin, is she is cross blocking that. Here's like an example of someone who's not Achilles camper, and they're inside clearing that gate. When we see girls exit combinations and they use that inside hand to clear that gate, so that would be the equivalent of Michaela using this hand, they tend to lean in and fall inside. My daughter really doesn't like it when people inside clear the exit gate of the combination. If you inside clear or use the opposite hand that Michaela's doing, people tend to lean inside. That's where they slide out, they lose their edges, they get behind the course. So when you're exiting a combination and you're cross blocking, it's really important that you cross block that exit gate, just like Michaela is doing here, and that you're just nice and confident and use those same good fundamentals that we talked about, that your shins are on the gate, quiet upper body. And this is what we want to work with your daughters on when they get to that point that they're cross blocking the exit gate of the combination. So just to summarize what we've talked about tonight, and then we're going to open it up for questions, is the big thing that things that Keeley's camp coaches are looking for and want to help your daughters get to get them ready to cross blocking or improve their cross blocking. But starting from that ground up is getting their knees and ankles to work together and getting those shins on the gate. In combination with that, once we get into stubbies or gates, our coaches are going to be working with you or your daughters on the slalom tactics so that we can help you get your shins on the gate if they're not already. And then in free skiing, we want to see quiet upper body. We want to see a strong pole plant. So then again, when we get in the gates, we can use that pole plant for timing. We want that pole plant to be part of the crosswalk. That's super important. And then we want to protect our nice smiles. Chin bars are required if you're cross blocking at Keeley's camp. And then having that protection of shin guards and pole guards is also important so that you're not getting sore and developing bad habits when you're doing this. We want you to have you and your daughters to have a good first experience in cross blocking. And then the progression that we're going to work on, depending on the space that we have, but is we're going to do this in stubbies. Then we may set some leaner gates or that diamond hitch. but ultimately we want to get to a place where we're doing sections of gates, of open gates. And then the final piece we add in is either refining how the girls cross block combinations or getting them to have good habits of cross blocking combinations right away. Because ultimately the goal with cross blocking is that we want to have your girls ski fast in slalom, have nice smooth skiing, and not let cross blocking take away from the good skiing. We want cross blocking to be just that nice smooth dance that slalom is, so that they can ski fast and reach their potential and their goals. One other thing that's awesome that Keeley's camp has is we have tall gates, but we also have shorter gates. And the shorter gates are just a little bit lighter. They can make cross blocking less intimidating, and they are a great tool to help your daughters gain these good habits when we're teaching them and working with them at home. So before I open it up to questions, and just in case anyone does have to go, and or if you are listening to this on a recording, I'm going to keep this screen up for a little bit, but please feel free to email me with questions too, if for some reason you have to get off the Zoom now, or if we don't get to your question, or if you're watching this on a recording. And just really want to emphasize a big thank you for taking time out of your day to join. But with that, I am going to see if Keely wants to add anything before we open it up to questions.
Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, like Lindsay said, we, for the most part, the most questions that we get prior to coming to camp are about slalom and slalom gear and cross blocking, and it's a really fun and exciting time. I remember my first day vividly when I actually cross blocked, and more than anything, we just want to emphasize that when you come to camp, we are going to help you get ready. And it's important to follow the drills and the skills that we're providing for you, because like Lindsay said, if you start creating bad habits with cross blocking, it can actually slow you down a lot in the course. So we want to really get to that point where your technique is ready, and that might take a couple of days, and sometimes it takes longer. So be really patient with the process, because some people will get cross blocking right away. I was one of those athletes that took a little while to figure out how to cross block. I used to rotate, and my arm would cross my zipper line, so it looked like I was kind of punching the gate instead of rolling my knees and ankles in to hit the gate. And that actually slowed me down for a while until my coach helped me with some cross blocking tactics and technique. So be patient with yourself. It's a really fun, exciting time in your little ski careers. And it's important to really take it one gate at a time so you can continue to improve. That's it.
Thanks, Keely. So we'd love to open up the floor for questions that you have, or things that weren't clear, or yeah, anything. So yeah, you can either, this is a really good point, you can either put your question in the chat or you can unmute yourself. But we just got a great question of someone who's new to ski racing. Can you reasonably expect to progress to cross blocking in 1 week at camp? And this is a really unsatisfying answer, but it depends. It totally varies from girl to girl and what skills you come into camp with. So for example, like I've seen girls that maybe they're newer to racing, but they came from a freestyle background. So they skied a ton of moguls before. So they have a really good cross blocking and really good pole plants and really good fundamentals. And they've been able to pick up cross blocking really quickly. other girls and other people, it just like Keely said, you know, she had some habits that she just had to like figure out, and it took her different. So it is individual for each girl, but
So you know, I did the steps at Mount Rushmore for a lot for me.
I think someone
Yeah,
else
we're a lot for me.
There we go. But what I can say is that every Keely's coach is going to help your daughter and or you do our best to help give you some steps leaving Keely's camp and some cues that are going to help you get on track to crosswalk. And one of the things that we're doing this year, and if you're in session 1, you've already received some emails from me, but we are sending out a pre-camp information form. And on that information form, we ask ideally that your daughters are filling it out, or at least filling it out with you. But what are your goals for camp, so that your coach can already start thinking about how they can help you as an athlete and know some of your goals right from the beginning. So some people ask, another question that we got is, what if you already know how to crosswalk? Are you going to train with the same group? Yeah, so that we do groups by age. And that's where our Keely's camp coaches, I think, really shine and do a great job, is we want to learn from people in the group. And there's so much you can learn from different girls, from different places. And that's like a really fun part about Keely's camp. But in terms of our coaching, if you come in and you're already good at cross blocking, and maybe there's someone else in the group that's just learning to crosswalk, is we set drill courses, and we're going to be able to, our coaches are going to be able to adapt and talk to you about what a good focus is for you if you're already cross blocking really well. And that coach too might give you some little tips that make you be even better at cross blocking or better with slalom tactics. So if you find yourself in a group with someone that's like maybe not as good at cross blocking and you're already cross blocking, you're still going to get some good coaching. And maybe you have some tips to share with that girl that's learning to cross block that really helped you. Keely or Chelsea, is there anything you want to add on any of those questions so far before I get to the next question? And yes, if you do have just questions in general about Keely's camp, we are happy to answer those.
Yeah, I would just say with what we were just talking about with groups, if you are, say, the best skier in your group with cross blocking, like Lindsay said, being a good team player is a big part of ski racing too. Even though it's an individual sport, when you get in the gate, having a teammate that is better than you to watch is a really good visual, so you can help yourself get to that level someday or reach whatever goal you're interested in reaching in ski racing. But also, if you're cross blocking the best, like Lindsay said, it's so important to show, like, maybe share, hey, this is what really helped with my cross blocking, because we have noticed that it is a little bit intimidating when you start cross blocking. I know I was intimidated at first, and it can be kind of scary, and you have to build the courage up. So having a group that has a mix is pretty cool. And we see so much improvement when we see, hey, she did it, so can I, right? The great example of just watching someone do something that maybe you don't believe you can do yet. So it's really important to be a good teammate and to focus on the positive, no matter what the ability level is in your group.
So we've got just a couple general questions that are coming in for the group. So I'm going to answer this one that's specific on cross blocking. So this question is just, will cross blocking be practiced at all age groups? Again, it totally depends. What I can say is that Keely's camp coaches, we are going to do our best to set both stubby gates and tall gates. And so your daughters will get to run a combination of both. And then our coaches are going to give them a focus for each course. And so we'll meet them where they are and work with them on the skills where they are. But regardless if they're cross blocking or not, they will get an opportunity to get in tall slalom gates. And even girls that are cross blocking, a lot of time, a great warm up that we do to really emphasize that pole plant, that zipper down the hill, is sometimes, even if you are cross blocking, we'll do a couple runs in slalom where we ask you not to cross block, not to touch those gates at all. And that's a common warm-up drill that we often do to just help get the timing back after not skiing at all that you might see in a group. So anyone that's ready will have the opportunity. And if that's something that you really want to try, talk to your coach too, because we might be able to say, yeah, we're going to just practice cross blocking one at a time. And maybe even if you're not quite ready to cross block, like Keely says, that can just get over the fear of it and get you excited about it.
Can I add something, Linz?
Of course.
So I just want to emphasize this too, that cross blocking takes patience. And if you start doing it really young, but you start doing it with really bad habits, that can translate to the rest of your ski racing career. So if we see a girl that's very young going into the gates that has perfect technique on the stubbies, her knees and ankles are rolling in, she has pressure above the gate and a strong pole plant afterwards, we might suggest her to try blocking a tall gate. If she gets into the tall gates and all of that goes out the window, we're going to go back to stubbies so we can progress in a natural way so we don't create those bad habits. So it's really important to trust the process with this because it doesn't happen overnight, and being really patient is important.
Yeah, thanks, Keely. I like to think about it like math, right? Is that if we're not good at addition, then it's really hard to do long division. And definitely we're not doing calculus. So we want to do a step-by-step so that we build those good habits and we create good lifelong skiers too. And that is just as fun as like achieving one specific skill, is figuring out that process, I think. So a couple other questions that we got just in general in camp, and this is an awesome question that thank you for asking, is just about what to bring for Mount Hood. So there is currently a blog up that BB Hall, one of Keely's camp coach and Keely's camp alumna, wrote for the blog, and she gives you some visuals on exactly what you should bring, but the weather can change quickly on Mount Hood. So every day we want to be prepared with some extra layers, even if we're getting up to Hood and it's that beautiful, bright, sunny day and we can go up first ride in our speed suit. We always want to make sure that we've got snow pants in our backpacks, that we've got extra layers, and that we've got a raincoat because the weather can change really quickly. So thank you for asking that question. And other questions, we do GS and slalom during this camp. Again, for this Zoom, we just tend to get a lot of questions on cross blocking because it's super exciting in slalom. And so that's why we chose this topic for this Zoom. And we really try and have anywhere between 5 and 7 girls in our ski groups. Keely, anything else you'd like to add? And any other questions that people have?
I am going to add a link into the chat of the blog that Lindsay was just talking about because it's really helpful. It's a video of BB going through what to bring, what to put in your pack. Because as we've mentioned, it is mountain weather up there, even though it's summertime. We're skiing at almost 10,000 feet. So it's really important to be prepared. So I'll add that in real quick.
Keely, do you want to address some of these questions just about groups and what to wear on the hill?
Yes. Okay. So how many people will be in a single group for the ages? Yeah, like Lindsay said, our ratios are anywhere from 5 to 1 to 7 to 1 for coach to athlete. We will also do giant slalom. Like Lindsay said, this just happens to be a webinar on slalom and cross blocking because we get a ton of questions about the gear and how most to effectively prepare your daughter for cross blocking or yourself as an athlete. See. Are there multiple groups for certain ages? Yes. Depending on the camp that we have, we'll have multiple groups for ages. Like we said, we have everyone put in groups by their birth year. So whether you're U14 or U10, you're going to be skiing with girls that are within 1 year of your age or all your age. So it's a really fun experience. We typically get 15 to 20 different states in each camp. So I highly recommend that you come to camp with an open mind to meet new people, because when I was 12 years old, I met my best friend at ski camp, and she's my best friend to this day, and she's from California and I was from Montana. So it's really a great opportunity to meet friends that share your passion of ski racing. Is that how the sleeping arrangements are weighed as well? Yes, if you are in the overnight camps, you will be put into lodging by your age. So you're with girls that are socially the same age. And again, making friends at camp is just as important as good cross-blocking habits.
Well, it's 4:45 and we want to be respectful of everyone's time. So thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you and your daughters at camp this summer. And thank you so much. Feel free to email Keely or I if you have questions on crosswalking or anything.
And I just put the blog in the chat. Thank you for that reminder. Check that out. It's really helpful.